Okay, well, there is something funky going on. Shoot, there is some weird, I'm probably haunted. I mean, let's be honest. Probably being haunted. Oh, that took care of it. Okay. I think there was some weird interference happening between the music audio and the Twitch audio. It's fine now. We'll just hope we don't need to get assault. Hi, I'm Chelsea. I suck at video games, so instead I'm gonna be painting. We're getting this off to a good start. We're already a day late. We're having ghost haunting problems. Everything's fine. It's all fine. Everything's fine. This definitely is not a cursed project in any way, shape, or form. So, hi everybody. Thank you for coming and joining me on this rare Saturday stream. I apologize that I had to postpone. If you were able to see that, I had to postpone due to my involvement in Puffs! My cameo in Puffs at my school. And so I will be sharing some more information about that later. But glad we're here. If you are joining me here from YouTube, welcome. Welcome to the live madness. If you haven't heard, I am posting progress of this cursed project on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/LadyBravefalcon, and I was able to successfully upload the very first stream in its entirety, so I'm really excited that people are getting to go back and see what I've done, or getting a chance to kind of interact and be involved with the stream live, so it's nice to have two different places that I get to do this. So if you're interested, you are welcome to go check that out. It's gonna just be the archive to save the progress of this ridiculously cursed project. Yeah, I was worried about the music level. Well, somebody recommended that I crank the volume up in Spotify. So, there we go. Now I don't feel like I'm shouting so much. Thank you, dear. Thank you for your tip. Let me know if anything else sounds weird or crazy, or if, ghosts come back, We don't need any more ghosts in here. So lots going on. Let me just go ahead and say I am much less optimistic about this project than I was when I started. I have been scouring the internet for instructions to deal with this crazy setup, this crazy book Nook setup, and there is nothing. I have found pictures. There are plenty of pictures that I can refer to, and I have been trying to use every album possible to try to figure out how this kit is supposed to be put together. There are no instructions that I can find, which I find baffling. I'm just so used to having Lego sets tell me exactly what to do where. So, the only place that I was able to find instructions, there is an Etsy seller who wants me to pay $10 for a PDF of the instructions to complete this kit. To that I say, screw you, sir. I would much rather save my $10 and just make a fool of myself trying to put it together on my own with my own common sense and intuition. So, yeah. So all that being said, it's been a lot in the last 2 weeks. The electric stuff is having problems. I'm really getting nervous about wiring up the lights. Like, there's a whole bunch of pieces that I feel like I could really use some instructions to help me understand. And instead, we're all going to be here together live, and we're all going to be figuring out how these pieces go together ourselves. So it's going to be great. On top of that, we also have an issue of not having a guide for, like, the orientation of certain pieces. So, for instance, I have been trying to put base coats on some of the larger pieces, and I've painted a few walls backwards. So I've had to repaint those, or I will have to repaint those. And that's a little aggravating. So it's gonna be fine. This project is just turning out to be a lot more cursed than I thought it was. But It's all gonna be great. It's gonna be so good when it comes together on my shelf. So let's go ahead and get started today because there's a lot to get done and a lot of different pieces. We're actually doing some construction tonight. We're actually gonna start putting pieces together. We're gonna see how that goes. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. Let me fill you in really quick on what I've done in the last 2 weeks besides being in a play and you know, all that normal life stuff. So, part of what I've been trying to do is prep before these streams so that I have stuff that's ready to go and I don't have to, you know, do large items on here on stream, such as like punching out pieces or painting large pieces of all one color. So I've been trying to do a lot of prep beforehand so that way we can, you know, progress a little faster and we can focus on the more interesting stuff, which is, you know, painting the pieces and actually putting them together. So part of what I did before today, I went ahead and I spray painted the base walls. So this is the back wall. We're going to be working on kind of constructing this today and painting some parts that go on this. To save my really nice paint, I have been using just spray paint, and I went ahead and spray painted the walls so that the inside is this color here. This is called espresso. So it's a nice dark color, but I find that the espresso is warmer than if we just used straight black. And I did the same thing with this book Nook here, where I spray painted the back wall and the side wall with the espresso. This is the one that I accidentally sprayed on both sides because I did it backwards before checking the orientation of where this little slot's supposed to go, because apparently this is where the electronics are supposed to come out. So we fixed it. The slot is supposed to be on the left, so it's fixed now. So that's part of what I did for prep. And then the other thing that I did for prep before tonight, I punched out some pieces and I'll show you those here in a sec. The other thing that I did is I gave a base coat to these brick facades. So these are designed to sit on top of the, well, I'll show you that here in a second. But these are designed to kind of sit on top of the espresso painted walls. And this is where things kind of get connected. So because these are so large, I decided to give them a base coat of gray paint. And I'm going to go in and do some detailing tonight with some of my other shades of gray. But I didn't want to waste a whole bunch of my nicer, smaller bottles of paint trying to cover a large surface area. So there's 3 of these. They've all been painted and now they're ready to get a little extra detailing and then eventually get connected onto the back of the espresso pieces. So the plan that we're going for today is we're going to try to get the majority of this back wall constructed. And it's going to be a little bit weird, so just hold with me for a little while. Let me switch over to our painting cam. We've actually got some tools we're going to use tonight, but let me just show you really fast how this is going to work. So this brick facade is going to lay over the top like so. And our goal for today, besides giving some detailing to the brick and making it look a little less flat, we're going to do some pieces that are supposed to fit into these slots here. This one I know is supposed to be a door. I thought these two were supposed to be windows, but all the pictures that I've seen make it look like they are also doors. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to kind of start piecing all of that together. And this is how the facade will lay over the top. And so our goal is to get everything kind of located where it needs to be before I have to go in and do electronics. So that's the deal. So the first thing that I need to do though, I need to go through with my X-Acto knife and I gotta punch out some globs of dried paint. There's a few places in here where the paint just dried inside the hole, here, like you can see right about there. There's just a few places where the paint got globbed up. So I'm gonna go through with the X-Acto knife that came in the kit and I'm just gonna punch those out so that it can be nice and uniform. And I think the X-Acto knife should work. Oh, watch me cut myself on stream. That would be great, wouldn't it? So, just trying to... Oh, you know what? I wonder if it would be better. Yep, you know what? It would probably be better if I went from the back. That would probably make more sense. Oh boy, oh boy. It's a good thing I'm not trying to do this for a living. So, yes. You know, I thought this would be easier from the back, but it's turning out not to be the case. Ooh, okay. Well, we'll just... You know, the X-Acto knife might not be the tool for the job, oddly enough. That's doing okay. Here, I'll switch back to the other one, because there's not a ton to see. So, oh, there's lots of globby places. Oh boy. And it probably doesn't matter, but I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I'm gonna just take the time right now to do it. Okay, so let's talk about this Puffs business. So the school that I work at, the spring play was student directed. So the kids were putting it all on. And the play that they chose was called, or is called, Puffs. It is, as you might imagine from the look of it, it is a Harry Potter parody, which kind of makes sense with this whole business that we're doing here with the Book Nook, but that's besides the point. So what the kids decided that they really wanted to do is they invited some teachers to have cameos where we got to perform in really, really quick little scenes where we were Hogwarts professors. Sorry, they're not officially called Hogwarts, but yeah, so that was what I got to do. And last night was opening night, and I just was on for 30 seconds or so, maybe a minute. But it was a really fun experience. It was nice to be back on a stage. I haven't done anything theater related since I was in high school. And it was really fun to get to be back on the stage. They had us write our own scripts. So that was really fun for me, getting to kind of write my own little script. And afterwards, I was gifted with this shirt. This is the cast shirt, which is also fun for me because when I was in theater, we got cast shirts all the time. So it's just kind of a nice little throwback. So I chose to teach divination. I decided to be Professor Trelawney, although I snapped it. Okay, well, you know, that might be a sign that this just isn't meant to be. This paint might just need to stay put. I can't believe I did that. I might just need to accept that this is gonna just be globbed up and just carry on with my life. I cannot believe I just snapped that. And I know I'm gonna do it again. I know I'm gonna do it again. Oh, gosh. Well, we wanted chaos, didn't we? I don't know that it matters a ton if all of the lines are separated. I just wanted it to look nice. That's all I wanted to do. Oh, and here I go. I'm just gonna keep doing it until I really, really damage something, and then I'm gonna be mad. Oh, goodness. It can be fixed. It can be fixed. It'll be fine. Oh, boy. So as I was saying, I chose to be Professor Trelawney. I decided to do divination. Just thought it would be really cool. And it was fun. And I got to write my script. I was very proud of the script that I wrote. I had to include lines that the kids would say as the students, and had to have this little exchange back and forth. And I was pretty proud of it. I went with the idea of reading the tea leaves, and the best line that I put in there was, I was so proud of this. I wrote it in the Hufflepuffs because, you know, Hufflepuffs are obsessed with snacks. Okay, I'm quitting with this X-Acto knife. I'm just gonna live with a couple of spots being clumpy because I am getting really nervous that I'm gonna snap the wood even more. So we're just gonna move on to painting, and we're gonna put this away. Okay, cool. Anyway, so the line that I wrote, I was very proud of it. I had the kids asking about whether or not there were going to be any snacks at the tea party. And what I told them, the line that I said that was very, very exciting for me, I said, "We are going to divine the secrets of the future from the tea leaves. Our purpose is to interpret important portents, to predict impending perils, my precocious puffs." That's a fun alliteration in there. I was very, very, very proud of that. I always like being able to bust out some fun wordplay. So, it was really good. And I wasn't expecting to get the shirt. I was very excited that I got a chance to do it. It was it was an honor that they had room for me and they chose me to be in there. I was not the only teacher. There are others who participated as well, but we didn't all do it on the same night. They wanted a little bit of diversity. So, yes. All right. I cannot believe that I did this. I can't believe that this... I thought I had a good strategy. I guess it didn't play out. Oh. And I moved my paint box and now I can't find what I need. Okay, so because of this base coat, it is pretty close to the ash gray. It's like almost identical to the ash gray. So I'm not going to use the ash gray on any of this. I'm going to focus on lighter and darker grays. So I'm going to just go through really quick and I'm going to add in a few additional bricks of the uniform gray, which will be a little bit darker, and then a few bricks of this Arctic gray. You can't read the label, but this is Arctic gray, and that will provide a slightly lighter color as well. If you were with me for the floor last time, you know that we do this to kind of make it look a little less flat and boring. We add in the darker and the lighter shades in order to make it look a little bit more natural, like an actual brick wall would be. Or at least that's what I try to do. As I have said, I'm not an artist, so I don't pretend to know that this is actually a legitimate technique, but it has worked well for me, so far. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Put in a little bit of water. I guess we're starting with the dark. And I'm not going to make this too elaborate. I'm just going to go in and add in a little bit. Just to spruce it up. This brush is going to be too wide, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, so we need a different brush. Great, Chelsea. It's all going great. You can't keep track of your brushes and you've already broken a piece. Awesome. Alright, fine. We'll use a little nimbler brush. Nimbler brush. drop cloth. This is nice. This is good. Okay. Hey, that actually took pretty well. I was a little bit nervous given how the wood of the floor didn't seem to be kind of absorbing a lot of the paint very well, but this seems to be going all right. As I said with the floor, when I go through and do this, I'm trying not to follow a specific pattern. I'm not skipping like every other block. I'm just trying to, put a little bit of variety in there. Trying to make it so that all the darker or lighter bricks are not next to each other in a clump. And just, like I said, give it a little bit of variety so that it just looks a little more realistic and less kind of coloring book. What was I going to talk about? With puffs. Oh, one funny part with puffs is my neighbor teacher was also participating, and she chose that she was going to teach Muggle studies, and we had to attend tech rehearsal so that we could rehearse like the basics of the scene that we were in. And she had tech rehearsal the day before I did, and the students were a little confused because they said, well, in the dark of backstage, you two look alike, and we thought you were here yesterday. I was like, nope, that was the other one. But it's funny because obviously the kids had a lot that they had to remember, so they kind of distinguished us by the main features of our little skits. So she kind of got labeled as Airplane because her little bit was about teaching the wizard children about airplanes. And I became Tea Leaves. That was what they remembered from me, was Tea Leaves. It's just really funny. And I will say that the students, obviously, they did a really good job. As I said, it was a student-directed show, so there are always different elements when shows are directed by students with limited experience who are directing their peers. That's just kind of a thing that happens. And they're high school, so it's only going to be so, it's only going to be so professional of a quality. And the acting is only going to go so far with, peer coaching. And I'm not saying that to be rude to the kids at all. They worked really hard. They deserve all the credit that they got. I'm saying this to say, I feel like this Puffs play would be so hysterical with professionals because there were so many jokes. There are so many jokes in this writing that I picked up on as a millennial that these Gen Z kids could never. They had no clue. There were so many references and criticisms based on the franchise that millennials have been talking about for practically decades at this point. And these kids it went right over their heads. They could not connect with these jokes. I'm in the audience. I'm cracking up because I get the references to, other pop culture. I get the references within the text of Harry Potter and the films of Harry Potter. These kids could never. They just clearly, there were some places where either the kid that was cast just did not get it, or none of them were going to be able to get it. But I found out that there is actually some footage from the off-Broadway production of Puffs available on YouTube. So I think I am going to be able to go and watch it done by millennial actors. I'm not saying this to be rude, but I really feel like this was a show. This is the vibe I got. This show was written by millennials for millennials. This was not a show that really is going to translate well if you did not, if you did not have the cultural zeitgeist of Harry Potter happening around you the way that we did when we were in school. I mean, these kids know of Harry Potter. These Gen Z kids can see all the movies still, sure, but it's not nearly as prevalent as it was when we were in school as millennials, like where a new movie was coming out every other year, where we were constantly hearing news about the actors because they were teenagers at the time and they were our age. Like, you get what I mean. It's not as much of a cultural thing for Gen Z as it was for us. And so I think because of that, a lot of jokes are going to be missed when a Gen Z Gen Z cast is trying to put on the production. So I'm not saying that to be rude. Like I said, the kids did an awesome job. It was so fun. They had a lot of really cool elements that they included, and they did their best to live in the spirit of this clearly millennial comedy. That's all I'm saying, is that this was clearly a show written by millennials for millennials. This is not something that a Gen Z kid is going to really connect with as much. That's all I'm trying to say. The other thing I'm going to say is that despite my involvement with Puffs, Star Kid is still the superior Harry Potter parodier. I said it. I believe it. I am so bummed that my school didn't, or that again, Puffs is a licensed off-Broadway production. Star Kid is Star Kid. Star Kid is an internet amalgam, if that's the way to put it. So there was no way that we would ever be able to perform that show at our high school. But, the little Harry Potter geek in me is a little jealous that I never got to do my Harry Potter parody in theater. I sure wanted to. But that's okay. It was a really good time. So yeah. I had lots of stuff I was going to talk about tonight. Second order of business. I am never playing Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess ever again. I kind of went on a tangent about that in the last stream about Twilight Princess. I am never playing it again. No, I haven't finished it yet. No, I don't care to finish it. I nearly snapped the Wii controller over my knee last week trying to beat this stupid game. I finally got myself all the way to Ganondorf. I'm basically at the end, but I'm never going to finish it. I'm never going to beat it. And here's the reason why. Because nobody told me that there's a horse riding level as part one of the stages to beat Ganondorf. Nobody told me that. The horse riding elements of Twilight Princess are my least favorite parts of that game. I had completely forgotten how much I hated the horse riding. I was sitting there screaming at the television as I was trying to beat this 15-year-old game that I thought I loved, that I thought I enjoyed. And I'm sitting there having flashbacks, horrible flashbacks to the level to get to Kakariko Village. And if you're not familiar with that level, let me go ahead and describe this trauma to you that I had to suffer at the age of 13, and then at the age of 22 or something like that when the game came out again. Let me go ahead and explain it to you. So in Twilight Princess, a huge part of the game is Link's bond with the horse Epona. And because of that, there are a heck of a lot of horsey riding levels. Now, it's all well and good when you are jumping things. Like, that's fine. It's all well and good when you have to ride Epona around to, like, round up goats. It's fine when you're using Epona to get away from enemies. Like, that's all well and good. The problem comes when the story requires you to ride this horse and to hit enemies, avoid enemies, and also keep a cart from burning with people in it. A cart with people from burning. And I was having these flashbacks because the level where you have to unlock Kakariko Village, you have to go with this this small group of people. There's a I'm 90% sure Telma is a Gerudo woman. So there's a Gerudo woman who's driving this cart. There is a Zora child who is about to die, who is the reason for getting you to Kakariko. And then there is your childhood friend Ilya, who has no memory, who is also going to try to get healed and then to help take care of this Zora child. So they're in this cart, and part of what you have to do in this level is you have to ride your horsey, and you have to fight off boblins. Cool, great, that's fine. The boblins are on their pigs, or they're on horses, and you have to fight them off. Okay, I can work with that. You also have to use your Gale Boomerang that came from... my light went out. Weird. I'm telling you, it's ghosts. We're haunted. We're haunted here in the vibe tent. This is such a tent. Anyway, you have to ride the horse to fight the boblins. You have to use the Gale Boomerang to put out flames that the boblins are setting to the cart. And you have to do this simultaneously. Now, if you're a normal person, that's not a big deal. If you're me, it is ridiculously difficult because there's too many elements that have to be balanced at the same time. You can't get too far away from the cart or you'll never catch up, because part of Epona's mechanic is that she has a limit to how fast she can go. And if you push her too hard, then you can't ride. She will slow down and you can't catch up with this crazy runaway cart. So that's one thing, is you have to stay close enough to the cart that you don't, you don't lose it. And the second thing is, you better not get knocked off that horse. If you get knocked off that horse, then you gotta waste time getting back on the horse, which means that the cart is then getting away from you, and if it's on fire, then that means the fire is progressing faster, which means that you have to hit it more than one time with your Gale Boomerang in order to put the fire out, because you can't just hit it once and be done. Oh no, you gotta hit it multiple times to put out multiple fires. So, and again, I'm sure someone way more competent than I am, like my friends who are now telling me in the chat that, it's a tricky level, but they were able to get through it. I'm sure someone way more competent than me would not have as much trouble as I did. It took me way too long to get through that horsey riding cart level. I hate it a lot, and the horsey riding stage of the final battle with Ganondorf is basically exactly like that. You have to stay close enough to him that you can hit him, because Zelda can only shoot things in a straight line, so you have to stay close enough that she can actually hit him, but of course he swerves back and forth to avoid her. Then you also have to avoid getting knocked off your horse, because of course Ganondorf has ghosties that pop out and they will hit you and knock you off your horse. And so then you have to try to get back on the horse, and that wastes time and he gets farther away. All of this is happening. Also keep in mind, Epona has a limit. She has an endurance limit of how fast you can push her. So if Ganondorf gets really far away, you better hope and pray that he's not so far that you don't have to use up all of Epona's endurance to try to get there. And, you have to hit him 3 times. Because that's the key, is you have to hit Ganondorf 3 times. Or any Zelda boss, you gotta hit him 3 times to be able to get them to their next stage or to beat them. So, anyway, it wasn't a good time. I didn't have fun. I was very angry after that session. I was frustrated beyond belief, and yeah, things did not go well. So, I could get through the Zelda puppet thing just fine. I know the trick for dealing with Ganondorf at the very end, but to get to the very end, you have to deal with the horsey riding. So if that's what it's gonna take, I just think I'm not gonna finish the game at this point, because I clearly do not have the patience, the endurance, the skill to put up with the stupid horsey riding. Not at all. I'll just stick with Breath of the Wild. Thank you very much. That will be just fine. Oh, the Palace of Twilight nearly did me in too. I was like, isn't it enough that I have Zant heads that I have to hit? Isn't that enough? Why do I also have to have these giant hands that are floating around trying to take the shiny ball away from me? Why can't they just leave me alone? Why do I constantly have to start things over again? That's aggravating. But I got through that okay. And it's really funny because Adam was watching me play this game. Adam, who has really only been around Nintendo since we've been married. Obviously, he's had experience with Pokemon, but he didn't really know anything about Zelda or Animal Crossing or, you know, other Nintendo titles like that. He didn't really know about any of that till he was with me, because we only played Nintendo. And so his first experience with Legend of Zelda, his only experience with Legend of Zelda, has been Breath of the Wild. Well, as any Nintendo aficionado can tell you, Breath of the Wild is not an accurate introduction to the Zelda franchise. It doesn't have any of the quirks that we come to associate with Zelda. So he's sitting there watching me struggle with this game and these levels and the dungeons. And I haven't played a ton of Zelda games. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert, but from my experience, the dungeons of Twilight Princess are pretty standard, and they're some of the best ones. They're really good dungeons. He's sitting there watching me do these dungeons, and he's like, okay, I think you have had an abusive relationship with this video game, and that's why you hate video games, because this doesn't look like it's very well made. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. The lore is really good, and the art's great, and yada yada yada. And he's like, the hitboxes suck though, and like you're clearly getting mad because you're missing the hitboxes. And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah. I'm starting to think he's right. I'm honestly starting to think that he's right. That my quote unquote former favorite video game has left me scarred and has ruined video games for me forever. Especially after I rage quit with Ganondorf's horsey level. I'm like, maybe my dear beloved does have some perspective here. So, I agree, it is a big shame. And it's a huge shame because there are other Zelda titles that I would like to play. At some point, I know I need to do Ocarina of Time. I know I need to do Majora's Mask. I know that I should probably do Wind Waker. Like, I get that, but video games frustrate me. There's a reason I don't stream video games here, because I don't have the patience for them. I dislike the feeling of trying everything right. I don't like, having the right technique and doing everything the way that I'm supposed to and then still screwing up. I just don't have a lot of patience for that. So, I don't know. I might change my mind and go back and try to really finish it, but not now. Probably not for a while. To clarify, I have in fact beaten video games before. This is not a standard thing for me. I did beat, I beat Witcher 3. I did beat that one. I did beat Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. I beat Breath of the Wild long before Adam did. Actually, Adam hasn't finished it yet. So, like, I get it. Like, I get the thrill of accomplishing that and finishing it, but this experience with Twilight Princess in particular is just... It's just been a little rough, and I clearly don't have the patience necessary to put up with that crap. So... But there's part of me that well, I don't know, because what I said to Adam after I had to rage quit, I was like, do not ask me to play any other video games. If I'm gonna do anything virtually, it cannot be any more complicated than maybe Elder Scrolls. Do not ask me to do it. I'm done. I quit. End of story. But I know that Wind Waker is supposed to be coming to the Switch, which would be a good opportunity to try it out. So, but we had been talking about how I kind of wanted to play Kingdom Hearts when it comes out on PC. I was like, oh yeah, I might want to try that. Because I've never played Kingdom Hearts, but I love the idea of it, and I know enough about it that I know that it would be something interesting to me. But I also know enough about it to know that the combat is very, very difficult and intricate. And so clearly, if I can't handle the stupid horsey level, I probably don't need anything like Kingdom Hearts to make me angry. I agree, it is really a shame, but I just... I don't find the failure fun. Like, at least in, like, okay, in Animal Crossing, if you fail at something, does that really affect you? No. In, open world games, if you fail, you have the choice of going in another direction, right? If you fail at one quest, you have a choice of giving up on that quest and trying something else out, and coming back to that part of the world later. With traditional video games that have a plot with levels that you have to progress through, if you screw up, you either have to start back at the beginning of a level, or you're just stuck there. You can't do any other part of the game until you pass that level that you're stuck in. So for me, as someone who clearly, as we've discussed, has some issues with perfectionism, that really sucks the fun out of it for me. I don't like the idea that I just am stuck and have to stay there and can't get past or get out of that circle of video game hell if I fail. So I don't think Kingdom Hearts is going to be for me because of that. And I feel bad too because Adam got me playing Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a pretty cool concept. He also got me started on Fallen Order, which I liked a lot. But again, I'm just like, I don't want to be in a position where I can't advance and enjoy the game because I'm stuck in one area and I have to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. That's not enjoyable to me. It's torture. It's just torture. So. that's kind of where we stand right now. So, who knows? When spring break comes around, I might get bored enough that I just decide to spend a whole day doing whatever it takes to beat Ganondorf. Then I can consider myself a true gamer. Then I will be able to have pride in myself. Maybe then my family will take me back. I won't be such a disgrace. All right. So, as you can see, the dark splotches add a whole lot of dimension to the wall. It's just nice to have a little something that, you know, just doesn't have it looking totally flat. So there are a total of 3 walls, because a book nook is like a diorama. It's got 3 sides, and then the 4th wall is open to you. So there's 2 more of these facades that I will have to paint at another time. But it'll be very similar. The other 2 facades have been base painted just like this one was, and then I will go through with these same colors, these other shades of gray, and I will add in the brick dimension in this same way. So right now what I'm gonna do, because I got the darker gray parts finished, I'm gonna go in with the Arctic gray, which is a light gray, and the Arctic gray will just provide a little bit more, just a little something extra. And then we're gonna move on to some actual smaller pieces. So, yeah, so again, I'm not trying to follow any specific pattern here. I don't have to put the light bricks next to the dark ones. I don't have to put, you know, a medium gray brick in between. Just kind of following my muse, so to speak. Meaning, hey, this looks like a pretty okay area to have a light gray brick. Why don't we go ahead and do that? Tell you what's disappointing that I found out. They took Bob Ross off of Netflix. They got rid of Bob Ross's The Joy of Painting. I was trying to grade, and I was like, I need something wholesome and engaging enough that I'll stay awake, but not so distracting that I can't get things done. And I was like, oh, Bob Ross, obviously. Well, lo and behold, I go on there, and Bob Ross's The Joy of Painting is no longer on Netflix. So, I know, how could they, I don't know what they were thinking. I thought that was, like, understood as a staple. Like, obviously you'll have Bob Ross on there forever, but clearly not. So instead I got to watch Great British Castles, or Great Castles of England, something like that. Which was also very good. Not quite as relaxing as Bob, but it did the trick. That Great British Castles, or whatever, was mostly interesting because they referenced some places that we have been over in England. Like they talked about the Castle of York, when we actually got to go there when we were over at Christmas time. So that was really, really cool that they were showing a place that we'd actually been, and they were talking about things that we had gotten to learn while we were over there in York. It also was fun because they talked a lot about Edinburgh Castle, which is one of the places that obviously we really want to go when we finally get to travel over to Scotland. So we would want to go see Edinburgh. So it was fun. It's a good time. Oh, but speaking of things to watch, we gotta talk about Marvel a little bit. MCU, we gotta talk about them a little. I'm not gonna give away any spoilers. We're not gonna talk about that property. We gotta talk a little bit. So I decided at some point, don't remember exactly when this was, but at some point I decided I wanted to sit down and kind of catch myself up on the Wanda and Vision related movies. Because there was a lot of stuff I didn't remember. I did not remember a lot of Age of Ultron, and I did not recall a lot of Civil War besides the battle at the airport. So I decided I was going to go back and watch Ultron and Civil War just to kind of fill in some of the details that WandaVision had been discussing. It was good, but I'll tell you what. The plots of both of those were really, really confusing. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, as someone who is highly invested in the MCU, I'm lost. Let's have a chat about this, Marvel. What the heck is going on here? And it's also just kind of confusing, especially since some of that information is being either retconned or redefined in WandaVision. Like how she and Pietro got their powers, what the powers actually mean, yada yada yada. But Civil War in particular, the whole framing device about the... No, I was going to say about the Sokovian Accords. No, that part made sense to me. That's where the Civil War came from. Despite the fact that Steve was completely wrong and Tony was completely right about the Accords. Besides that, there was also the whole subplot involving Bucky. Now, Bucky's an alright guy, but that whole thing didn't really seem to mesh with the rest of the movie. Like, this business about how, there's this Sokovian guy who is trying to... I guess his goal was... That Sokovian guy, I guess his goal was to try to hurt the Avengers and drive them apart by revealing this big secret about Steve's best friend and his connection to Tony's parents' deaths. I guess that was the whole idea, was finding another reason to drive them apart. But if that's the case, why on earth did we have to have a whole subplot about other Winter Soldiers? Like, that just seemed kind of pointless, other than having an excuse to get all the characters to a more scenic location in Siberia. I didn't get that. That part was confusing. And yes, I understand that, like, it was important because it kind of initiated the events of Black Panther, because this supposed attack by the Winter Soldier in Berlin is what killed T'Chaka, which is then what put T'Challa in the position of the Black Panther. I get that stuff. It just didn't feel as natural to have all of those extra bits with the Winter Soldier and that Sokovian guy. It just didn't really seem to fit or be as fleshed out as some of the other parts of the movie. But it was nice to go back and you know, to relive Wanda's initiation into the Avengers, what she went through when she was originally at the beginning of the team. It was really nice to go back and see her initial connection with Vision and how that played out. It was nice. I was glad I did it, but I rewatching those movies, I walked away thinking, yeah, Ultron is still the weakest of the Avengers movies. And yeah, Civil War is good for this one scene, and that's pretty much it. Like, I will always say that Civil War is my favorite Captain America film. Because it is, because Captain America is real boring. But I just had the revelation that I think Civil War is my favorite Captain America movie for the same reason that Attack of the Clones is my favorite prequel movie, because there's one really cool fight scene that I think about all the time, and that just outweighs all of the other weird parts that go into it. I don't know. Maybe there's not a reason. Maybe I'm just trash. It's probably that one. I'm probably just trash. But yeah. So, no spoilers in the chat for WandaVision, please. I have seen it, but other people might not have. I'm not going to talk too much about it, just because it has only just been released. But it was a time. I am definitely still intrigued to see what Marvel is going to do next. But that's all I'm going to say about that at the moment. This base coat of gray turned out to be a really, really good idea. I don't know how well you can see, but the little light patches just add just enough. I'm sorry, the light and the dark patches add just enough of a pop that you go, ah, it doesn't look like a coloring book. It looks like it could be an actual stone wall. Again, not putting any real rhyme or reason into where I'm placing these. I'm just kind of doing what feels right. Trying to fill in gaps. We're going to be getting into some fine detailing here in a minute. But right now, just getting things started. I thought Adam said he was playing Valheim. That he was going to be playing Valheim and he was going to stream it, but it doesn't sound like, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe Valheim is a game that involves a lot of yelling, but it doesn't sound to me like he's playing Valheim. It sounds like he's playing the ghost hunting game. Phantasmic or whatever it's called. right, almost there. Just getting the finishing touches. And then we're gonna get into some real fun. We're gonna have to come up with a way to connect things without permanently attaching them. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be good. Everything's fine. Wall. Stone wall, not really brick. There we have it. So, like I said, I've got 2 more facades just like this that I'm going to treat in exactly the same way. They have already been painted with the base coat, and then I'm going to go through later and I'm going to put on the darker and the lighter shades. But we're not going to do that now, because right now we're focusing on the back wall. So, let me explain what's going to be happening here. So in just a second, I'm going to be bringing out some smaller pieces that we're going to be painting, or I'm going to be painting. You're going to watch me paint. What needs to happen is these small pieces need to be placed inside of these gaps. But I don't want to glue this facade on just yet. And let me tell you why. So there are supposed to be some electric lights that are supposed to go in right here. Oops, there we go. Right there, that little hole. And right over here. There are these adorable little electric lights that will turn on at some point, and they will be adorable. What I have discovered is that those little lights have wires, and those wires, I think, are supposed to go in between the facade and the back of the wall. So, since I haven't quite figured out how I want to do the lights, I don't want to commit yet by gluing the facade down permanently. I want to make sure that I have a solid plan for the wiring before I actually glue this facade onto the back wall. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be building the little inserts tonight, and then I'm going to glue this down later. So what I need to do is I need to attach this facade so that it's in the right position where I can glue down the little pieces that go inside without permanently gluing down the facade. So my plan is, I gotta try to get it centered. That looks about right. So my plan is, we're gonna use some painter's tape. We're gonna tape this thing on, and we're gonna just hope that that will do the trick to keep it in place enough where I don't have to commit yet and permanently glue anything down. So it looks like I've got the brick flush with the back wall. So I'm just gonna put a couple of pieces of painter's tape to hold this down in place. And I'm hoping the painter's tape won't strip off all of the work that I just did. But I'm hoping that if I do this, then it will keep the facade in place long enough for me to, you know, attach some of the pieces that need to be glued on the back without permanently affixing the brick. That's the Dream Herald. So that honestly seemed to work out pretty well. So I think we'll be okay. So the second part of the process tonight, in addition to doing some of the stonework, the second part is that we are going to be painting and constructing the big door and its pieces, and then these two smaller doors and those pieces. These tweezers came with the kit. I have these here so that I can handle little pieces and arrange them without difficulty because, well, super glue, basically. Super glue. So part of my prep work before the stream is that I went ahead and punched out all the pieces that we're going to need. And we are just going to go ahead and paint them, and then we're gonna put them into position. So let me go ahead and show you what we've got, what we're working with here. We have the great doors. I don't know if these doors are supposed to go toward the headmaster's office or if these are supposed to be doors that go to the great hall, but it's a very fancy and elaborate door, and it comes with an archway. You see how it lays in flush like that? This is the part that's gonna get glued down after we paint it. So it's got this very fancy archway, and then it has some other pieces here that fit, or supposed to fit over the top. Oh, you know what? I think I got those backwards. Sure did. Sure did get those backwards. There we go. So it creates this very, very fancy archway that has layers to it. And then on the inside, there is actually a very fancy door. So all of these pieces came separate, but that's going to be the end result. It's going to have a three-dimensional effect that is going to stick out, and it's going to be glued up against the brown espresso part of the door, which is what we're going to accomplish tonight. And then these little bits have other doors. I'll show you those in a second. But that's kind of the goal. So we're going to go ahead. We're just going to go ahead and start with this big door because this is the one I'm excited about. And it's going to give us a chance to have some really, really cool metallic elements that I want to use. So what I'm trying to do, I'm wanting to do a combination of kind of stone colors and also some metallics, just to make it kind of stand out and be real, real pretty. So you can see here, this back plate has some very intricate scroll work. That is obviously going to be in some metallics, and I might throw in some color as well, just to coordinate with like the colors of the floor. And then we've got these arches that are very plain, but I think we'll also add some cool dimension and some cool accents with the metallics. So yeah, so some of these are going to be metallic. Some of them I want to be stone colored to look like they are seated in with the rest of the wall that I just painted. So I'm saying this to explain that I don't have to get out new paints on my palette. I don't need to get rid of these two grays yet because I'm planning to use them. But what I'm saying is I'm going to add in some metallic colors here that will add to the fanciness, the fancy schmancy part. And yes, it is going to look really cool when it's done. It's going to look fan-freaking-tastic when it's done. So, I think like I said, I think for this scroll work on the door, I think I really want to include metallics, but I also want to include some color that coordinates with the floor. If you were not with me for the floor episode, that's okay. You're welcome to go take a look at my YouTube channel and see how the floor turned out, because that's where the footage is. But if you don't want to do that, then let me go ahead and give you the short version. I used, not that one, but that's a cool color. Where did it go? Here it is. I used a color called Wizard's Orb on the floor, and I also used the deep blue color. And we kind of ended up with a cool, almost peacock aesthetic. And that's what I would like to translate over here with the archway over the big door. So I'm going to use the Wizard's Orb and the deep blue again. And then I am... did I use greedy gold? I don't remember if I used this greedy gold, but I think I might use it here. I have another version of another gold color that I really like a lot, but I used it a ton on the floor. I don't know. I just feel like I want to mix it up a little bit. Mix it up. So I think I'm going to use this metallic, and then I'm also going to use no, not that one. I'm going to use I think I'm going to use the plate metal silver. Again, these are Army Painter war paints. They're used for like Warhammer and D&D and other tabletop miniatures, and this is what I like to use. So yeah, so we'll have some silver, we'll have some gold color, we'll have some actual color in between the stone work that is going to be used. Oh, I needed to... No, it'll be fine. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. So the nice part is, with these very plain looking pieces, these two archways that are very plain and don't have detail, we could just paint those one solid color. We don't have to put a lot of thought and effort into them. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a bigger brush. Whoops. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this one. This layer goes on the top, the very, very top. It stands out the closest to you from the back wall. So I think I'm going to paint this with the Arctic gray, the lighter gray. And like I said, we don't have to give this a whole lot of care because it's just going to be one solid color, which is kind of how this whole process tonight is going to go. A lot of solid colors that don't require a ton of care, other than taking care not to snap the wood, because I've already done that once and we don't need it to happen again. Okay, so that's going to be the Arctic gray. And then what I think I'm going to do, because when they're stacked up, there's going to be a small amount of the back archway that's going to show. So right now you can see the naked wood. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this. Yeah, I think I'm going to paint this one with my greedy gold, which will mean that there will be an outline of gold around this very light Arctic gray. And I think that's going to look, it's going to look nice. So, adding a little bit of water. I don't know that I have to add water to the paint. I've said before, this is a technique that I've seen from other painting channels with miniatures, miniature painting channels, I should say. It gives the paint a more ink-like consistency, which I think makes it easier to work with, but I don't know that you actually have to do that, especially when you're painting wood. That soaks the paint up more than a plastic or pewter miniature would. But yeah, so these two parts together are going to be very, very elaborate looking. Alone, they're kind of simple, but that's not such a bad thing. That's not such a bad thing. Okay, so I'm going to set those off to the side and let them dry together. And we will glue them in just a moment. But what I'm going to do next is I'm going to paint the planar parts of this archway, the ones that don't have the scroll work. I'm going to paint this with the uniform gray, which is the darker color. And I'm going to have that darker uniform gray help I think that's gonna help this archway stand out against the brick wall. It's gonna be dark, it's gonna be contrasted with the gold, it's gonna be contrasted by that Arctic gray, and I think that's just gonna be a nice pop with the stone there. So, just gonna slap it on. I'll go in with a little brush here in just a sec and get the really fine details, but or I'll just do it with the big brush. Oh, apparently I can do that. Don't mind me, just making everything harder for myself. Okay. There we go. So these parts will look like stone, and then the more elaborate parts are going to have metallics, like they have gilded inlay, or they have painted tile, or something like that. Use your imagination. It's a magical castle. They use magical construction tools, masonry tools, what have you. And I'm gonna need a little bit more paint, looks like. Okay. So, just gotta watch the edges. Is shaking like crazy. I don't know what's up with that. Oh, that actually is working out way better than I thought it would. Nice! So there are a few parts that kind of fall within the decoration. Like they look to me like they're all connected as one stone piece. So that's why it looks like there's an awful lot of gray going on in the middle. But I think when it is framed by the other arches, I think it will make a little bit more sense. There we go. Cool. All right. So now we get to do the cool little wings. Are they wings? Kind of look like wings. We're gonna do the cool, cute little wings. We're gonna do some color with our Wizard's Orb and our deep blue. And no, to clarify, I did not pick the Wizard's Orb because this is a School of Magic book nook. I picked the Wizard's Orb because I really liked the color of it. That's all. A lot better than it was last time. Oh, this one is not. This one's just pissing water out. Gross. There we go. We'll get that all mixed in. I think I'm gonna need a slightly finer brush to get some of these really delicate areas. Oh, I do want to go ahead and put my silver in the palette too. There we go. I think... No, not the detail. I think the insane detail is what I want. Yeah, so if you're not familiar with the insane detail, that's how tiny it is. It's meant for insane details. So we're just going to use that. If I were smart, I would use a different brush than this one because a lot of these lines are very fine. And if I were smart, I would set myself up for success, but I'm not smart and I just kind of want to use this one brush and not get another one out, so I'm not gonna do it.
Do you think Lorelli ever really comes and looks in my window at night?
Okay, so let me see here. Oh, you know what I think I could probably do? So there's these kind of swoops here. And then in between the swoops, I don't know if you can see that, there's like a little wedge. It's very similar to the decoration on the floor. And what I did on there was I made the kind of stripy swoops. I made them the Wizard's Orb teal, and then the parts in between I made with the blue. So I think I'm going to continue that motif here with my my little scroll work. So, I think... Nope. This brush is not going to work. Nope, nope, nope. I tried to be brave. I tried to test myself, but it's just not a good idea. I need the little brush. The little tiny brush. Kind of hard to see with this lighting. There we go. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. And yes, I'm being a little sloppy, but that's okay. I can go back. Cover my mistakes. We're not out here expecting perfection. We're here to have fun. We're here to have a good time. Okay. So I guess I'll do the blue bits that I'm certain about, and then I can start figuring out what I'm gonna do in the rest. Man, this was really just watery. Okay. Oh, it's gonna be like that, is it? It's gonna just be... just real watery, I guess. Oh boy. Pigments did not mix well with the solvent, that's for sure. It's okay though. A little bit of green, a little bit of blue. Okay, there we go. So now I think I'm gonna go back with some of this greedy gold. I don't know why, but I really like the idea of these little triangles here being with that metallic greedy gold. Just feel like that would be nice. I was right, that does look nice. And I'm gonna do these little dots here as well. Cool. Thank you very much. We're gonna see how the silver goes as well. I think there's just a couple other like small dots and small sections in here that I think could work really well with silver. So let's abuse this very delicate brush to mix up some of the silver. Okay. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do, I want to get obviously some metallics up here, but I don't want to just separate and have the color be really separate from the metallics. So I'm gonna incorporate some of the color into these wave designs as well, but I want to start off with metallic just to kind of figure out where the accents, the metallic accents should be. So I think I'm gonna do silver here. And I don't know how important it is that these be very, very precise. This part's going to be kind of hard to see. It's going to be a little bit covered up, but just want to get it looking nice, looking special. And then I think I'm going to do this big crest out here. as well. A little hard to see, but it's there. It's there. Sparklin' and shining. Okay, so I'm gonna jump back and forth a little bit because I know I want to put in some color as well. So I'm gonna kind of jump back and forth about the color and where the colors are gonna go in between these metallics. And I think I am set on putting this blue right here. Right there. You know what? I think I'm gonna also put it... Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Okay. There's another large area that's begging for color, but I don't want to use the deep blue because then it would be deep blue right next to deep blue. So I need to use my Wizard's Orb green, and I'm gonna put it here. This kind of follows the pattern that I set up with the bottom decoration, and it also makes sure that there's some separation and gap between the areas and the fields that are using the blue. There we go. Like that. Okay. I'm gonna go in with some more greeny gold. I had a specific area and then I lost it that I wanted to put the greeny gold. I know I'm gonna put a little bit on the top of the silver here and here. So this is the biggest doorway. There's every single wall has a different number of doors. The one that we're doing tonight has 2 doors, and then the far right wall has, I think, 5, and then the far left wall has 4 or 5, something like that. But they are not all as detailed and intricate as this one is. This is the focal point door. The other ones that we're going to do tonight are much smaller, and they have some detail that and some dimension that I really want to bring out, very similarly to how this one is built, but they're a little less complicated. I figured the back wall would be the easy one because it has the coolest door. It also has the fewest amount of the teeny tiny doors. So I figured it would be a good way for me to kind of test out the colors that I want to use and the combinations that I want to use before I have to do a large batch of those paints. Okay, so swoops. A couple swoops in there. Okay. Alright, so I think I decided on... And to clarify, I don't plan any of this, like the exact patterns and colors. I don't plan any of that in advance. We're doing this just on the fly. But I think I decided a moment ago that I wanted to put some blue here. Just keeping up with that alternation. Just keeping up with that alternation between green and blue. And I think if I'm following this pattern correctly of going green then blue then green then blue, I think then I need to put some blue at the very tippy top. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. No! Shoot. Shoot, shoot, shoot. That is technically connected to the this other section of greedy gold. I know this doesn't mean anything to you guys because you can't see it as close up as I can, but there's just a lot of little parts that just seem to connect together. So this bit here actually needs to be in. Oops. There we go. Greedy gold as well. There we go. I actually am loving this combination. Like, I don't know about you, that whole combination of colors with the metallics, that gives me very much a feel of an illuminated text, like an illuminated medieval text where the letters and the illustrations have so much vibrant color and they have so much gilding and gold leaf in there. It just, oh, it looks like a painting. I love it. It looks like a painting because it is a painting. You get what I mean. It looks like some historical work of art, and it's not. It's just my stupid little bookshelf diorama. Okay. There were a few bald patches I had to patch up. Okay. So, we're nearly done here. Okay. Green is next. Sorry, I just got kind of lost in it for a sec. Had a couple places that I really needed to patch up. Okay. Okay. Nice. So I'm going to... I'm gonna put a little green dot. There's two little dots here. A little green dot there. Little green dot there. And there's another little space that I see that could use some blue. And it's very tiny, but it's an important part. There's a tiny little circle here. Looks great. Oh, that looks so freaking good. If I do say so myself. Okay. And we're almost done. There's a little tiny part left. You know what? We're gonna get in a little bit more silver, just 'cause. just these two little cinnamon bun shapes. All right. All right, everybody. So there we go. Like I said, just enough color to make the metallics really stand out. Enough color to break up the monotony of the gray. And then, of course, the metallics, just because it is supposed to be a very rich environment. So the next decision that I have to make, I have to figure out about these interior arches. So this goes right in here. And then we've got these doors. And originally what I thought I wanted to do, I thought I wanted to paint this out here. I thought I wanted to paint that with that greedy gold. But I'm worried that that's going to be a little bit much, given that this archway is going to be standing on top. So I might do the interior archway. Oh, that ended up turning out so good. No, you know what I could do? Oh! I'm doing it. I'm gonna paint this archway with the wizard's orb green. That's what I want to do. Why? Because I like it a little bit better than the blue. And because I think it will add some great pop contrast with the gray of the stone. I just think it's gonna be neat. Do you think if I put enough liquid in these gaps that I could use this to blow paint bubbles? That would be such a... That's a bad idea. I want to, but I won't. Okay. And then I'm going to do the doors. I'm just going to do the doors in silver, I think. I considered maybe the blue, but I don't think I want to do the blue. I think I want to do the silver. I am an adult. I could go ahead and do that, but then I would have to then accept the consequences when, like, my nice microphone gets paint all over there. I also don't really want to fathom just how much liquid it would take. Okay, there's one. And here's the other. And I could have put a little bit more detail into these. I could have added in like some of the deep blue, and I could have made them look really, really fancy, but I decided nah. They're plain pieces of wood, so I'm gonna keep them plain. There we go. Okay, just trying to make sure that there's no clumps of paint in the corners of these little windows. That was the issue I ran into with the facade, and then we know how that turned out. doors, everybody. We got some doors. And I've got really gross paint water. All right, so I think it's time for construction. I think it's time to construct. I am using super glue. It's probably not the best adhesive I could use, but it does the trick. Because I don't need things to, you know, I just need things to stay where I put them. So, and this is, it is Gorilla Glue. Because as we know, Gorilla Glue, yeah, exactly. We're not going to put it in our hair. We have learned from the misfortunes of others that this is not a hair product. This is only going to be applied onto bare and painted wood and nothing else. Gorilla Glue. It's permanent. All right. So I think the best plan for me is to stack these up before I put them into the facade itself. And I'll show you what I mean in just a second. But I just think that's going to be the best idea. So... Oh my gosh! Quick! Oh no!
Regarde dans la glace. Qu'est-ce que tu vois? Regarde dans la glace. Qu'est-ce que tu vois?
Oh, and of course this tube is almost empty. Of course. Come on. Don't bubble up and... Just my luck. We've got more. Don't worry. Violent unpackaging ASMR. This is Scotch brand, so we don't have any more Gorilla Glue for our use. It helped us out, it got us started, but this is gonna be messy. Oh, it's bubbling up so much. Okay. All right. Now, watch me pretend that I'm a professional. These fancy tweezers.
Oh, that's all right.
Yes, that looks wonderful with all of that glue seeping out from the edges. Ow! Okay. Ow! Alright, well, that was a thing. We did that. We're gonna have to use this up now because it's all bubbling. It's bubbling up like crazy. So we gotta... I swear I did not have this much trouble with the other book Nook that I made, but... This stuff might end up in my hair whether I mean for it to or not, the way that my fingers are going right now. I'm afraid to put the lid on because I'm afraid it's gonna stick the lid to the the rest of it. Yes. That looks so good. Just bubbles of glue coming out all over the place. But we got it. But we got it. All right. There we go. We did it. We made the archway. We have success. So, I am going to go ahead and try very hard. Oh my gosh, there's so much spillage. Okay. Now this is the part where things are going to get a little tricky, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to glue this archway We're gonna try to glue this archway on without gluing it to the facade and getting the facade stuck on when we're not ready for it to be. I am not liking this Scotch glue. Oh no. Okay, we're good. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Just... pretend that nothing happened. There we go. Okay. So ideally, I should be able to still get this facade up without the archway being permanently stuck in there. We're gonna see if that works. Knowing my luck, it won't. gonna do a few key pressure points on this one. Oh, my hands are shaking like crazy. And I'm also gonna do some pressure points for these doors. We'll see if I've got enough glue in this tube. Nope. Ran out. It occurs to me that I could be using the tweezers to hold this thing. Why? Why? Oh my gosh. There's so much glue that's just coming up, bubbling up. Here, let's try to salvage my fingers a little. Oh, these teeny tiny pieces are going to be a beast. Ow! Oh, man. Just remember, you are saving money by taking on the pressure of construction yourself instead of just paying somebody else to do it. All right. All right. We have the main door. Now this will be kind of the main thing that is seen at the back, directly at the back of the book nook. So, apart from the glue bubbling up, I think that all looks rather nice, and I think that my plan may have actually worked. Let me test my luck and see if this is actually the case. Oh, yes, I did it. I did it. Okay, good. So what this means is, as long as I'm very careful, I should be able to remove this brick at the end. And all the little pieces will be glued onto the brown backing of the wall. And then I will be able to replace the brick when I'm ready. So, okay. Oh, for heaven's sake. I'm losing a lot of glue. I'm not very happy about it. All right. Cool. So I'm gonna use this as a good opportunity to take a quick break. I'm going to replace my paint water, and then we are going to move on to phase 3? Yeah, phase 3 of tonight's project, which is to take care of these 2 smaller doors. So stick around, and in a couple of minutes we will be back and getting on with a little bit more painting, and we will be ready to get this wall finished. So see you in a few minutes. All right. So, I've forgotten that I brought water in for myself. Okay. So, the final stage of tonight's project. Got some doors. Now, to me they look more like stained glass windows than doors, but they I think are supposed to be miniature doors. And this is going to go pretty quickly. The hardest part I think is going to be constructing them because there's a lot of teeny tiny little pieces. But this is going to go fairly easy for painting because I'm wanting to make these doors fairly uniform. I'm not going to do a lot of crazy unique details on these doors. They're all going to look pretty consistent. And like I said, this first wall is kind of my opportunity to figure out exactly what I want to do for the other small doors like this that I will have to make for the other two walls, because there's I think a total of 8 or 10 maybe that are this size between the 3 different walls. So this is my opportunity to settle on what I want to do in order to make my job a little easier of painting all these pieces. And I think that keeping most of the pieces uniform is the best way to make sure that I can, save more time for the bigger, more elaborate, more unique pieces of the book nook, like that big archway that we did in the first part. So for this portion, I want to keep things kind of simple. What I'm thinking of is instead of using stone as an inspiration for these doors, I'm thinking about going with more of a wood look, where the doors themselves will be brown and will look more like they're made of wood. The archways will be made of wood as well, but we will include some metallic elements for these decorative archways that are going to be used. To add a little bit of interest, but also not making it quite as exciting and elaborate as the big door that we already did. Now, the parts that I'm kind of stuck on are these. So these are tiny little panes that are designed to go inside, like they are recessed inside of the doors, which I think is really cool. But they have more detail in them to create this paned glass look. And I feel like I could do something really elaborate, like some color in those, in order to make them stand out and make them look like, I don't know, stained glass or something. But I haven't really settled on what exactly I want to do. So part of what we're going to do today is we're going to decide how to paint these little panes. I toyed with the idea of making them multicolored. I could do that, but this portion of the project, because there's going to be so much construction, this portion of the project I'd like to keep a little bit more simple so that I don't have a ton of elaborate painting in addition to a ton of construction. So instead of making each tiny individual little pane unique, I'm thinking about maybe just making each set of doors a unique color, like having multicolored doors throughout the entire book nook, where there's a red door and there's a blue door, there's a plain white door. Now, my sensibility, just for my personality, I don't love that idea. I would prefer to have all of these doors on all of these walls be the same, where they all have the same color wood, they all have the same color metallic accent, they all have the same color pane, because one, that makes the painting easier, and two, I prefer that. It's symmetrical, it's kind of uniform, and it doesn't take away from the really unique elements of the book nook, such as the floor pattern, the stairs, and the really, really big, fancy center door that we just did. So if I'm going to be honest, I'm leaning toward keeping these little window pane parts. I'm leaning towards just doing them in white or like a very light blue. I don't know. There's part of me that thinks, oh, I could make it so cool by doing multicolored, but then there's part of me that's like, there's so many of these doors. I just want to keep it simple. But I'll save those for last. I know I already know what I want to do with these other parts. So, as I said, I'm trying to go with a wood look for the exterior parts of the door. That is purple. That is not brown. So the question then is, what kind of brown is going to be the best? I have a lot of options in here. The part that gets a little tricky is the shade, because some of them are designed to be a little more flesh colored. Oh, the Griffin tan could work. No, I don't like that one. Nope, I lied. Some of them are designed to be more flesh colored. And some of them have like hints of orange, hints of coral, hints of red that is designed to make them look different than just brown. I do have this monster brown. Like, that could work as just a basic wood brown. That's purple again. Why do I keep grabbing you? I just picked up another one that I thought would look good. The leather brown. No, I guess between the two of these, I think the monster brown is going to be a better bet. So we're going to use monster brown to make monster doors. So the brown is going to go on these doors here. And then I'm also going to put it onto these two archways as well. These are all the pieces that are going to get glued directly onto the back wall. And I think that painting them brown to make them more of a wood look will... They're more simple. They're more simple doors. So I think that's going to help keep the simplicity. But what I'm planning to do then is I'm going to paint these arches here. I cannot feel my fingertips. I cannot grip anything. These arches and these panels here are going to be layered in such a way that they created kind of a frame, an arched frame around the doors. So what I'm going to do for those, I'm going to use my favorite gold, which is my dragon bronze. I know it doesn't say gold, but this is my favorite one. So I'm going to use this to create a very thin little inlay of a gold around the door. And I think that set up against this monster brown, I think it will be subtle, but I think it will also be very elegant to do. So that's going to be the decorative archway. I'm going to use the monster brown for the wood of the door. And then all that's left is the panes. I've also got these little arches too. These are supposed to go in the middle like this. And I think I'm going to paint them in the same dragon bronze that I used for the archway around the door. So it'll just add a little something. It'll add a little glimmer in the light, but it won't be too elaborate or spectacular. My personality, I don't love things not to be symmetrical, and I don't love to have things that stand out for no reason. So I think this is going to be, it's just going to be, we're aiming for a light, elegant touch in this particular scenario. And I don't know what I'm going to do about these. I'm going to have to decide on that. I might go ahead and just do multicolored doors. Rainbow doors. So. The nice part is that this painting is going to be easier. There's not a lot of detail. It's just literally get the paint onto the wood, and then that'll save us lots of time for constructing. Oh, don't tell me. I think this is a testament to how often I use this one, because it just keeps getting gunked up. Oh, man. Okay, that should do it. I don't need a ton of that, so that little bit should be enough. I'm going to start with the brown. I think I can get away with using this big brush. As I've said, I'm not an artist, so I'm not particularly concerned with using the correct tool. As long as it gets the paint on there, that's all I care about. I think this brown will be nice too because it's much lighter than that espresso paint that I used to spray paint the backdrop of the brick facade or the stone facade. That's a very dark, dark brown. I like it. It has worked for me, but I don't want everything to look like that. I think that painting the edges is just an exercise in futility. Futility? Oh my gosh. Futility. So speaking of that espresso paint that I used. So this house was not well cleaned out when we moved in. The previous owners left a whole lot of crap everywhere. We're still finding a whole bunch of crap everywhere. Part of what they left behind in the garage was a whole bunch of paint. There's some spray paint in there, and a lot of it is in really gaudy colors that I personally don't like. But one of those cans of spray paint that they left behind was espresso. So instead of having to, go buy my own spray paint that I wanted to use for these large pieces of wood, I just used the stuff that the previous people left behind, and it worked out really well. The other kind of paint, they've also got some tubs of like acrylic paints that I think were purchased for painting walls inside the house. And one of those tubs is a little tiny sample tub called Granite Gray. And the Granite Gray is what I used for the base coat of the stone facade work. Waste not, want not. I have no idea how old any of that is, but it's been working fine, so saves me money, and as long as it's there, I will be able to use it. And it's mine now. I own the house. They left the stuff behind, so clearly wasn't a huge issue for them. Okay, next order of business. We're gonna move on, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do the gold parts. Look at that. That's a nice light gold. I know it says bronze, I don't care. Looks gold to me. Just enough of a shimmer. Oh, sit still. Just enough of a shimmer to make it look fancy, but not garish. These little arches have been a pain in the ass because they are delicate. Even with perforations done, even with the laser cutting, they are so hard to get out of and punch out of the wood. They are like toothpick thin. They are so delicate, and I have already broken a couple. Okay. There we go. So just a little bit of shimmer. And we're putting the same shimmer here. You'll see why when we actually construct. of the stuff that they left in this house was crazy. We walked in, there was a dress form just sitting at the top of the stairs. Very nice dress form. I kept it. I can use a good dress form. But that was unexpected. We found a very fancy ring in the master bathroom. We suspect that things between the original owners did not end well. And we suspected that before we found the ring, but the ring kind of solidified. We went, oh snap. That they were back. Splitsville. Just chill. Oh my word. Then it was also gross because they left all kinds of literal trash everywhere. Okay, you're just gonna lay there on the floor. We found loofahs in the bathrooms. We found like toiletries everywhere. It was disgusting. We had to get an actual cleaning company to come in and clean the place out before we even started thinking of moving in because it was just so disgusting. Just moved into a house a month ago. The only thing we found was a tire in the basement. See, I would have been fine with a tire in the basement. We found pools of glitter all over the floor. We found abandoned... Okay, so this room, this library used to be the younger child's bedroom. We found pacifiers. We found passies left behind. Like, I get that, you know, that's something that you might not necessarily want to take with you, but how on earth do you not just throw that away? We found a ton of, like, kids' clothes, and I don't think that the kid was a baby when they left, but we just found so much stuff, and we're still finding stuff. The garage is still packed full of crap, and we're gonna have to go through all that once it gets warmer outside. There we go. So we're very happy with this place, but it's been a ride, and there's still a lot of work to do. Now, on the plus side, they did leave some stuff that has been useful, has been nice. But there's so much crap that we just don't have any use for that we now have to be responsible for throwing out. We had so much dog hair under the stove that we thought it was a dead animal at first. We have dog toys still sitting on our back deck, and they have been snowed on and rained on. And they're just sitting there like stuffed animals. And it's actually kind of funny because we're just like, is the giraffe still back there? Yeah, giraffe's still there. Once it gets warmer, the backyard is going to get a huge overhaul. But yeah, it was gross. We called their realtor and we were like, hey, your guys didn't... This is the other part. I should add this part too. They had requested occupancy after closing. So we closed on the house at the end of September, I think. And they requested occupancy of, I think it was 2 weeks. So maybe we closed in mid-October. Anyway, they requested occupancy because they wanted to have time to clean the place out. The whole process of us making an offer, the offer getting accepted, and then us closing on the house went by really fast, and they didn't have everything figured out for their own move. So they requested occupancy. So they were living here while we owned the place. And the understanding was that they were doing that so that they had time to move and they had time to clean. Well, then we got here after we got the keys and after they were gone, and we found so much crap all over the house. And it was like, so you weren't really cleaning for those 2 weeks, were you? Anyway, It's fine. So the moral of the story is, it's my stuff now, and I'm gonna use the paint for my little art projects because I can and because I have it. Luckily, we have not found any dead animals yet. I was nervous about the attic, that there were gonna be some... I always worry about raccoons showing up in weird places. I don't know why it's always raccoons and not possums. I guess because possums have, you know, a role. Possums are helpful. Raccoons don't do much. They just kind of destroy things. So, I always worry about raccoons being around. Alright. So... Alright, that's not going to stay standing up. Alright, so, with all that being said, most of my pieces have been painted, and it doesn't look like a lot, but like I said, I want to keep this part really, really simple. I don't want this to be a super elaborate segment of the book nook. There's so many other parts that are going to be created and are going to be much more interesting than the teeny tiny doors. So the last thing that I got to figure out then, painting wise, is these panels. I guess, I don't know, I'm not thrilled about the idea of painting them white, now that I'm thinking about it. I don't really want to paint them gray, because that would blend in with the stone. I don't really want to paint them all different colors. Because I've been using a lot of greens and blues. I've used a lot of purples. Because I guess I could do some different blues, because I've got some really cool blues. Like the electric blue is really neat. I've got void shield blue, which is really cool. So I could do different shades of blue, or I could do some purples that would kind of coordinate. I don't love the purples though. What did I use? I used, oh, this is what I used. When I did the floor, I did this orc blood color, which is not showing up super well in the light right now, but it's a purple. I didn't like that one very much. I had a lot better success with the alien purple. I liked how that looked a little bit better. Oh, decisions. Crystal blue. Kind of looks like the void shield in this light. There we go. So a little bit different. I definitely don't want to do gray. I know that. Oh, no, you know what I could do? Wait a minute. Hold up now. I don't have to do plain stark white. I've got some off-white options that I completely forgot about that I could do instead. I'm a big fan of, personally, I'm a big fan of the mummy robes. That looks stark white. I promise it's not. Here's the comparison to the matte white. So the mummy bone is an off-white color. I'm sorry, mummy robes. I'm looking at skeleton bone as I'm saying this, which has a little bit more of a yellow tint to it. No, that would look too close to the dragon bronze gold that I picked. No, I think I just need to do a color. I don't think a white or an off-white is going to be a good fit. Oh my gosh. We had an oak brown this entire time. Now I kind of want to... Yep, nope, I'm doing it. I'm going to go over these wooden parts. We're going to go over these with oak brown. Oh, that's way more than I expected. Oh, no. Oh, it's going to be fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Thick. I made a mistake. Oh, that looks so much better though than the monster brown. That looks so much better as an oak brown. It's cool. I'm just stalling. I'm just buying time so I don't have to think about these little panels on the inside. That's a much better choice. That oak brown. Definitely not stalling. I'm not stalling, I'm just thinking. I'm thinking and planning. Stall. I have to make a decision now. Oh, okay. Oh boy. Okay. All right. My decision is I don't know. My gut's telling me that I should just go ahead and do different colors. I don't really love that idea because I'm not sure which colors I want to use. But I'm feeling like that's what my heart is telling me to do. Where's that? I don't think this is the one I want. Nope. All right, I just need to go ahead and commit. I liked this crystal blue. I really liked that one. So I'll do that. And why the heck not? We will go with orc blood. Why not? Let's go crazy. Let's just go ahead and have a little fun with it. Put a little color in there. I mean, the rest of the wall is going to be gray anyway. It's going to be a lot of neutral colors anyway. So why not just put in a little something something? I don't know that that got mixed very well. I guess we'll find out. It still kind of coordinates with the overall vibe of the thing, which is these cool colors, even if they are, you know, bright. This crystal blue did not turn out the way that I thought it would. That does not look the same as the bottle. Oh well, we're gonna go with it. Please excuse my dirty paint water. That does sort of look pretty. I don't know what this, there's a bit at the bottom. I don't know what it's supposed to be. I don't know if it's supposed to be different from the regular window panes, but I'm gonna paint it the same. Okay. I'll go ahead and use the Insane Detail brush. Put a little bit of sparkle on these panes. Because why not? Now the orc blood. Orc blood. Alright, this is the last bit of painting I'm doing tonight, folks. Then it's construction time. AKA, time for me to glue my hands together again. Won't that be fun? Okay. Get a little bit more dragon bronze on here. All right. I don't think those look too horrible together, personally. I don't think they're honestly too bright and obnoxious. So, I can live with it. I think this orc blood might need a little bit more. Just to make it pop a little bit better. And now it's getting into all the fine lines. Of course. Okay, there we go. All right, cool. So, get those out of there. We are done with painting. No more painting tonight. Now it's just gluing. Gluing and praying that nothing gets stuck where it shouldn't get stuck. So, really quick, thank you for those of you who are still sticking around. No more painting for tonight. Just the construction part, but I mean, we're gonna have a whole wall done at this point, so that's a pretty good spot to be. I want to go ahead and thank those of you who have stuck around. I really appreciate the interaction in the chat, and those of you who have stuck around with me this long through this part of the project. So I do want to just say that this Saturday night streaming thing is not the norm. I do normally attempt to do Friday nights at 7 p.m., as you can see down below. That's when I normally schedule. So after this, we will be back on that schedule. And also want to quickly remind you that I do not stream every Friday. I have D&D commitments. So I have every other Friday when I am not playing D&D, I will be streaming painting. So if you're looking for information, you are welcome to take a look at... I don't know why I pointed down there to YouTube. You're welcome to take a look at my my Twitch schedule. I also post updates through my Instagram if you care to get on there and see all the random crap that I post on a regular basis. It's up to you. But yeah, so not next Friday, but the Friday after will be my next stream. So that should be March the 20-something. Yeah, March the 20-something. So, that'll be the next time that I paint. So, yeah, we're gonna try to figure out what we're gonna do next for that one. I know there's a lot to do and there's a lot that I have to put together still, but I haven't figured out what I'm doing next. So, it might end up being another wall. Who's to say? Alright, so I gotta group all these little pieces up because they will make 2 doors. And just need to have them organized and out of the way. To clarify, there is still a heck of a lot more that I need to paint for this book nook, but just not tonight. There will be more painting in my future. Okay. So, this is the part that I'm really nervous about because there's so many teeny tiny pieces that I can't deal with it. I'm gonna go ahead and answer this question from the chat to avoid having to glue things. Officially, the next stream should be the 19th. That should be the next stream, March the 19th. I was a little bit off. So that is a Friday night. It is at 7 o'clock on March the 19th will be the next time that I stream. Yeah. And, what was I gonna say? Oh, and obviously, if you're not able to see the next stream, if you have other things going on Friday, this information will be saved. This footage will be saved. The stream will be saved, and it will be posted onto my YouTube. So if you are not able to make the live stream on Friday, then the YouTube video should be available on Saturday. Ideally, that's the plan. So, but yeah, the Saturday tonight just worked out because I had a prior commitment on Friday night last night. So that's just kind of how it worked out. So, okay. What was I saying? Oh, so there's a lot of teeny tiny little pieces that have to get glued, and this super glue has not been my friend so far tonight. So I'm gonna do my best, and we're gonna try to figure it out. Let me go ahead and lay this out and show you the basic gist of what we are dealing with here. We have a brown wood archway. We have the double doors. We have these very long golden boys that slot into the sides here. not standing up super well. Nope, they're not standing up well at all. That makes me very nervous. Very, very nervous. We have that little piece that goes in the middle. And finally we have, just throwing things, this shiny archway. Right there. It doesn't look very good right now. It's all falling apart. But that's the basic idea. So we're gonna try to get these glued in. I think I need to do these side pieces first because those are just gonna be a pain in the ass. And I have to do this twice. Oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Yay for me. Yay for me. Okay. Okay. This is the part that I was dreading. I do not have a steady hand. I don't think I want to do this one first, actually. I think I need to do the big arches first. There's a little glue dribble here that I'm trying to salvage. There we go. Okay. Ow. Okay, so then I think I can use that as a guide.
Oh no.
There we go. Nobody breathe too much. We'll scare the pieces. Everybody just stay calm. Like I said, stay calm. So for reference really fast, these holes here are part of the staircases. So eventually when we construct the whole thing, we'll have these staircases that crisscross between walls and they connect in and they connect up with some of these doors. So even though there's some little tiny gaps in between the door and like the floor, it'll be fine. It'll all get filled in. Getting so nervous with all these teeny tiny pieces. So nervous. So I should wait on that arch. I should wait. I should do the doors first. Because I know where those go. I know how those are supposed to be oriented. Like I said, don't breathe too hard. Okay. Now I can do this little archway. I had to check to make sure that it was the right side up. I'm sure this looks spectacular on your screen. It looks like a hot mess on mine, or on my table. Oh boy. Whew. Okay, we're almost there. First door is almost done. First door is almost done. First door is almost done. Oh, I knew that was gonna happen. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Because I'm trying to do this upside down so you all can see it easier. And I'm bungling it. Oh, go back inside. Oh no! There we go. Whew, this is exactly why I never saw myself. Before getting this kit, before starting this process, I never saw myself as being a person who did miniatures because I don't have the dexterity to be able to handle these teeny tiny little pieces. But look. A door. You know what? I don't hate the color. I actually don't hate having the color on there. I think that's actually pretty nice. Alright, so now we're gonna do this same thing right over here. Same shebang. Shebang. Who am I? What am I? What are these words that I'm using?
But do it for me, please.
think we're in the clear. I hope we're in the clear with that one. Okay. Almost there. Alright. I think I did this archway next. Trying to make sure that nothing gets stuck on that stone facade, because that has to come off for a little while. So far, so good. I think we're okay. Again, just trying to get up all the glue that's sticking around. Sticking around. Come on, I believe in you. Okay. Archway. All that's left is the last two panes. These are the crystal blue ones that I did. And that is that. That'll do, pig. All right. I actually am in love with how that turned out. I actually really like the color panels on the doors. I didn't think I would like this as much as I do. And it all does coordinate very well together. It feels very much like a fairy tale. Like it feels, I was trying to go for something a little more realistic for whatever reason. Like, heaven forbid that a bookshelf diorama should be fantastical, but it's turning out a little bit more Disney-esque, like more like a fairy tale, and I actually really, really love that. So, moment of truth. Let's see if I can get the stone facade off still before I don't know how I'm gonna glue this this stuff down yet. I haven't quite figured that out. I thought I was gonna use super glue, but that would take a lot of glue. It might not be a problem. I might have already glued it down. Well, I think I answered my own question there. It's stuck. And if I try to force it, it is going to snap off. So that just made doing the electrics a lot more complicated. I had a feeling that that was going to happen. Oh well. It'll be fine. I'll make it work. I might just have to figure that problem about the lamps sooner than I expected that I would have to solve that problem. Nuts. Alright, well. It is what it is. I had a feeling that that was going to become a problem anyway. But it is complete. So this is the very back wall, and there will be 2 other walls that will have to be made. Oh, there, you can see now. So if you look down in the corner, you can kind of see the big door, and how the staircases are going to eventually cover up this area and how they're going to connect. So these 2 little ones are not going to be highly visible, but I'm still really happy with how they turned out, and I think they're going to look really nice, except that this one looks a little bit bare on the glitter, so I'm gonna patch that up real fast. That was the brown! Oh no! What have I done? Oh, this whole thing has just not... Well, I promised you guys some good old-fashioned chaos, and I don't know what could possibly be more chaotic than a kit that you have to put together yourself and come up with the directions yourself. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. I'm trying to decide if I need to go ahead and do the lamps right now. I think I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. We're gonna leave it the way it is. This was the plan for tonight. The plan has been accomplished. Mission accomplished. All done. So, here. Let me dig the floor out. Just to give you a visual of how these pieces are gonna fit together. Okay, so this is the front. This is pointing toward the open 4th wall of the book nook. So this is the wall that goes on the back like this. And so it's going to stand like so. And like we saw in the picture, and like I mentioned, there's going to be some staircases that cross over around here and that connect over here to the side and connect up to the top door. So, and this actually, I think, coordinates really, really well with the floor that I did last time. So that's pretty exciting. I really am happy with how well those coordinate together. Here, if you want to see side by side. This one turned out a little bit more vibrant, the wall did. There's something different about the wood on the floor panel that just did not take the paint quite as well. But it's fine. You're not going to be able to see that very much. This wall is going to be the focal point that you see the most when you look straight into the bookshelf and you look at the diorama. So yeah. So we did it. That is what I call a decent night's work. So we are going to call it a day from there, and I am going to have to figure out how the heck I'm doing the lamps. I don't know. I just know that if I try to pull this up, it's going to snap off, so I shouldn't press my luck, shouldn't mess with it. So yeah, so we're gonna call it for the night. Thank you again so much to those of you who stuck around and participated in the chat. Thank you to those of you who tuned in at the beginning or those who tuned in at the end. I really appreciate all the support, and it's just been really fun to get a chance to do this as some stress relief and, you know, a fun way to share this unique project, you know, and to keep a record of it for myself. As I mentioned before, my YouTube channel is LadyBravefalcon, same as my Twitch handle. I keep saying all this information. I'm so used to saying this stuff to my students. All of these videos and these streams will be recorded and will be posted on my YouTube channel. So as I save it for my own posterity to go from bare wood kit to fully painted Wonderland, you will also, if you are interested, be able to go back and relive the magic with me, if we can call this magic. Typically the day after the stream, I am able to get it up. I say that like I've done that multiple times. The one time that I posted on YouTube, I got it up the Saturday after the stream. So we're gonna try to do that from here on out, so that way it's done and over with. So, yeah, so that's what we've got. Next stream will be Friday, March the 19th, when I will be back probably doing another wall, now that I'm thinking about it. Probably working on another wall. But yeah, so 2 weeks from now, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here at twitch.tv/LadyBravefalcon. Yeah, so thank you again so much for hanging out with me tonight. I hope that you've had a great time vibing with me and doing some crafting. And I hope that you'll come back and you will join me again on March 19th as we continue the Magic School Book Nook chaos. Oh, I have to figure out how to wire lanterns. I don't know how that's gonna work. I have to figure that out. All right. Have a good night. Be safe. And